Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser,
I'm Phillip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
and this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SETI Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I am your host, Daniel Prue, and joining me as always are my two compatriots, lost here on this planet, stranded here on this planet. Whether or not it's real, we don't know, but we're here and we're together. So, Darren and Phillip, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, that's good. I was trying a new skin for the planet. I was going with black hole. I thought it would look slimming, but apparently it's still, the telemarketers still come. So
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. You know, many people don't know we were actually Darren was not originally in the pilot of City Alpha 3.
I smiled too much.
Yeah, and I was played. There was another Phillip Gilfus character, but he was played by someone different. But I'm glad we're all here now, though. I think this is the hardcore trio now.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Perfect. And yeah, so this week, no guests, but we're just going to do the three of us, and we're going to be talking about the episode.
If memory serves.
If memory serves.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I made a little joke with the timer.
Yeah, sure you did, Daniel. Yeah.
Is it Daniel? Are you having problems seeing time linearly? Is that what the problem?
Yeah.
is?
What did they say? He was seeing it as a. Oh, what did they say?
Non-literally, basically. Yeah.
Is it like a marble cake? You know, is it? I'm thinking.
Maybe. But to be fair, apparently he's real easy to fix. You just bring him to the right place, and it's like wireless charging, and then Spock is just fine. So, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about it.
Is Talos IV like the Apple Store for your Spock? You just have to.
So is.
Maybe. I mean, this is kind of hipstery Spock, so it would make sense, right?
But
And
can we
the
start with that
Pelosians are
opening, though? Because we were just about
Yeah.
to talk about that. And
Yeah,
previously.
let's start. So we get an interesting sort of, I guess it would be like a minute or two recap of the events of the cage, done in this sort of stylistic,
flippy
truncated-
camera, multi-layer.
Yeah, it was really cool. I actually really thought that was a really neat thing that they did.
Yeah, I saw, because, I don't tend to watch things until the weekend because it's usually, if I don't see it Thursday night, obviously, then Friday night's usually something busy. And so Saturday's usually not. So I have to avoid Twitter for like 2 days with Discovery and Orville, which are both Thursday nights. But, I always get something leaked. But anyway, so I saw someone said that they thought the intro had sort of set the wrong tone or something for them. So I knew it was coming, that it was going to be something like The Cage or something. But watching it, I thought it was fine. There is a small part of me that thought it would have been cool if they had used their existing actors to redo cage scenes.
That would have been.
Oh, that would have
Would've
been
been
even
cool.
cooler. But yeah,
And then you just, would have Anson Mount just had him full jet black.
I did like the last shot where it like transitioned from
Morphs.
Pike to Pike. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay, guys. Actually, it's interesting. I found on this computer. This is the actual file name for that intro. It's called Cage Recap Version 4 _ We're in the prime timeline now, haters. .mov. Because it was definitely a big. Let's see them try to say we're not in the prime timeline now. We literally put footage of it in the beginning of our episode.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, if there was any doubt before, it can't be there now because we literally saw they put the cage right up to it, and that's fine. If that's how they want to deal with it. That's
Maybe
totally
that was
fine
in
with me.
Spock's mind, and that's how he was viewing time, and that's why it was all flippy and multi-layer. That's how he's viewing things.
Yeah, because obviously I think the worry, whatever. I mean, not that I could go both ways on this worry, is that when we showed the preview and then we're going to show the actors who are completely different people, does that throw you off? And it doesn't throw me off, but, it's like to more from Jeffrey Hunter into Anson Mount as Pike, they're they're not twins. They're not,
Is it
completely
the Star
radically
Trek
different.
equivalent of a regeneration scene? Is it trying
guess
to
in
connect
Doctor Who,
all of
yeah.
the? All
I
of
was
the
just going to say this coming from the guy that played the same character for 18 different actors over 50 years. But.
Yeah. Well, it'd be the similarity in Doctor Who would be they've had 3 actors play the first Doctor throughout Doctor Who, so I guess that'd be the closest. But I mean, it didn't throw me off, but like there's and I was fine with the teaser. But like I said, it would have been cool if they had just done those actors and just done the recreations of those teasers.
That would have been cool. I admit. I mean, I hadn't thought of that idea, but once you said it, Daniel, I'm like, I liked what they did and it was fine. But the only thing that would have been cooler would have been reusing, like, kind of like Troubles and Tribulations, where they inserted them into the footage where it looked like old footage, but it was the modern actors.
Oh God, I don't know if I'd like that.
Or
That would be weird.
or maybe exactly what you were saying. I mean, something along those lines, where it's like, we all know the shot of Spock smiling at the plant, and the previous cage. But I guess if you did do that, then why would you would probably use the more up to date Talosian makeup and stuff, and maybe it just wouldn't have the same ring. I don't know.
Well, but here's the thing, and we can go on record now. The footage from the cage has now been reused in Star Trek twice. So it's
They're
officially in
milking
canon.
that.
They are really.
We never aired it, but dang it, we paid for it.
Yeah, Roddenberry's original investment, all that money that went into the cage, we're gonna make that money back if it takes us 75 years. So yeah, an interesting introduction. If they continue to do sort of really things that we've seen before, but new angles or whatever, I wonder if we'll get this sort of thing more frequently. Maybe next season will be, whatever, something else that we got, and they'll have another little introduction in the beginning.
It also made me think of the season 4 Enterprise episode, The Inner Mirror Darkly, where they changed the intro, for the mirror universe, which again, I like that they did that, because it's like, we don't have to stay in this perfect box of, well, we can't change the intro. That's, I don't know, sacred or something. So I like it when they shake things up a bit.
Speaking of changing the intro, I know this was commented on either last week or the week before. I don't know if Suki said it or someone, about how how there's different pictures.
Mm-hmm.
And I noticed it, and again, maybe I don't ever notice it, and it's been there the whole season. But like, there's the Red Angel suit is now in the intro.
Right.
There's the captain's chair.
Right.
And
then there's the 3 badges.
And then there's the separate black badge, Section 31 badge. So I didn't notice that before. Maybe
I did. I noticed it, I think episode 1 or 2. I haven't gone back to check and confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's been consistent the entire season, but it did change slightly from season 1. And I'm kind of cool if they do that. Like, it's the same intro, but slightly different, like what this season's about. Key visuals, because I mean, you had some Klingon batliths and other cool things, and the eye. I think the eye's in both, but maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, you had a lot of different interesting things. So that'd be cool if they continued that.
Mm-hmm. Well, season 3 is confirmed. So
yeah. Well, yeah. So there you go. All right. So I guess we can just move into the episode proper at that point. Basically, Section 31 is after. Jesus. Yeah, I know. But it's part of the episode, so we got to talk about it.
I mean, they literally have a hallway conversation. Like, they don't have a room for this on that tiny ship. They're literally standing in the hallway with holograms.
And bridge conversations.
For the first time, we did see 3 or 4 other crew members of the Section 31 ship. So it's not entirely just 2 people. But yeah, so they have a conversation. Who are
the Badmirals? That's the Badmirals Club.
Are they regular admirals? Are they Section 31 admirals? Is it a different command structure? How does this work?
Yeah, it was, and again, we're going to talk about a lot of positives, I think. Section 31 storyline, I hate it. But I guess the only internal, for me, consistency is Section 31 can't tell me where to go to the bathroom, much less give me orders. And so, where is the command structure? Section 31 doesn't give Captain Pike orders.
Yeah.
I mean, that's admirals. Now, if the admiral wants to say it, okay, then. I mean, it's a different story. But, like, Captain Leland can shove it, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm Captain Pike.
Yeah, this version of Section 31 is so fluid and, like, nondescript in what its ability is to do and control. the old one was sort of a shadow organization, and they would never try to influence anything directly like that. That was against kind of how they worked. Mm-hmm. And now it's like they're running Starfleet, I guess. Question mark?
The rank struck, and whatever. I mean, Discovery can do its own thing, which is fine, and it's what they do. But anyway, Section 31, like, isn't it? To me, I thought it was, and I don't even know if you can compare it to like a modern American example, because it's not CIA, because there's a Starfleet intelligence. So, I mean, it's that. Right. But like, I thought it'd be more civilian. But it's Captain Leland and quote unquote Captain Giorgio. It's like, shouldn't it just be a bunch of civilians?
Yeah, so. I don't know. Yeah. So, anyways,
yeah, it was weird. I was thinking that too the whole time, where it's like, how are they giving orders? Because where are they in the command structure of the Federation at large? Because they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and we're gonna capture this person, and Starfleet wants this and Control wants this, and I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's how Starfleet works. But
so in the organizational chart, you'll see like the box of like Starship Commander, and then above the box will be Regional Fleet Admiral, and you'll see this sort of gray box on the side that
dash
doesn't have
line
anything.
Connecting.
It's just a gray box. That's Section 31. So.
No, that's great.
It also must have been Diversity Day at the command, because there was an Andorian, a human, and a Vulcan, and
Tellarite.
Yes. Yeah. Why is there 4 people giving us orders? Why can't one person give us this information?
In the hallway. Let's not forget the hallway.
Well, they haven't finished building the sets for the spinoff yet. So, anyways, so basically they gave him the information of, hey, you need to find Michael and Spock or whatever. And oh no, that was when he was kind of eating crow for letting.
Right, Giorgio's power playing herself into being in command.
Right, which transitions into basically Giorgio kind of stalling Discovery, saying you need to investigate the probe from last week and see what happened there, and we'll do the Michael and Spock investigation. You leave us alone.
I was a little confused on that plot point because previously before that scene, Leland, I think it was, or was it the Admiral? It doesn't matter. Someone was suggesting, I think it was Leland, saying, look, let's tell every other ship in the fleet to look out for
except
Michael.
for Discovery.
And then Giorgio's like, no, we'll do something different. And then she tells Discovery. And I'm like, I mean, what's the plan? Because obviously they're going to look for her. I mean, like, and maybe that's her plan, for all I know.
It's true. If they don't tell him, then they're going to look for him anyway. But if they do tell him, but tell him specifically to stay, that's
they specifically say, hey, do your mission, but whatever you do, don't look for Michael. Gee, I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, she's trying to undermine Leland.
Yeah.
That's the one consistency that she has. So maybe she knows or thinks or
because she always she also let Michael go.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Leland's got only a couple episodes left in him before he's not in command.
He did.
And maybe she'll be like, I'm from the Mirror Universe. Well, of course, he already knows that. But then she'll like stab him or something,
Yeah, this is how we get promotions.
And doesn't she have her dagger on her? I'm pretty sure it's been pointed out that she still has her Terran dagger.
She's certainly not wearing a uniform. We know that. But that's nothing new to Star Trek. Anyways, so Discovery gets this news. Pike is like, oh, okay. It's kind of like when they tell Picard not to fight the Borg, right?
That's right.
You know that he's not going to do that. So.
Right. Heading, Captain. We're wasting time. Anyway, like every
well,
Star
look,
Trek.
the Discovery just finished his first sensor sweep of the neutral zone.
I guess just to stay in Section 31, even though I don't want to. So Tyler, again, I hate him. But anyway,
but we trust him now, like a brother.
Well, the thing is,
do we?
I liked him in season 1. I mean, there was a lot of things going on in Vok and blah blah. But I was staying with this season. They're just killing him. I'm not interested anymore. But there's a lot of Pike Tyler scenes throughout the.
Well, we get some cool Colbert Tyler scenes.
Yeah, and that's an interesting storyline. We can talk about, but just
you killed me, literally. I mean, who gets to say that?
Every episode has to have a Pike Tyler alone scene. I'm like, why so much time together? And don't you have an XO?
Is he
Pike?
Is he the new bartender doctor that he gets to talk to? I don't know.
It's like Pike actually talked to his XO for the first time in 3 episodes, so that was cool. But anyway.
Yeah, so they find out. God, I'm trying to remember what even happened in that scene. So the Pike said, Ash is telling Pike, "Hey, don't do it. Leave him alone." So they investigate what they're supposed to do.
Pike was like, "How do you know Michael? Because I have not watched those season 1 Blu-rays yet."
That's right. That's right.
Well, and we also, I mean, it might be a little later scene, but it's basically the same concept. Is Pike is leading the Discovery crew, like at least half of them, to search for Michael, but he still has his other main people on the task at hand, so he's just multitasking.
Multitask.
Yeah, so I don't know. This part of the episode kind of spins its wheels a little. There's not much.
Well, Daniel, they actually can't spin their wheels because someone has sabotaged.
But that's not till later. So
okay,
we'll get
they have
into
thrown
Can
their
we get to Talos
wooden,
4? Because that's what
their
it gets
wooden
going.
robot face into the gears.
Called Sabo.
So after the scene between Tyler and Pike, when he tells Pike that he was in love with Michael, and maybe she felt something for him, but
She changed her status on Space Facebook. So.
she did.
Spacebook.
We switch over to Bernum and Spock, who are in their shuttle heading towards Talos IV, like we saw in the last episode. And so she lands on the planet, and then
whoa! There's a black hole. There's a lot of.
Oh yeah, we should actually.
Which is cool because it's like now since they did the calculations on what a black hole would look like in what was it it begins with an I, Interstellar. I think it was called that. Since they did that,
yeah.
I mean now whenever you see a black hole, that's what it looks like. It's that gravitational lens where it looks kind of like a Saturn-y, like spinny bubble. But it was cool. I mean, it was also cool because it was like their illusion, yet their illusion was telling the computer of the shuttle you were about to be crushed by a gravitational pull. So,
or it was just telling them that their computer was telling them.
That is true. That is true.
That's probably what it was, and that's why Spock knew.
Spock played "Don't Touch the Remote" and kept her.
Yeah,
from...
like them just slapping each other away from the controls.
But that was cool.
Siblings.
Yeah, and that was cool.
Yeah,
though,
we'll get into the siblings.
It's a black hole, and then they landed, and they landed.
Yeah, and then she says, "Oh, we're through the looking glass now," and I'm like, "Yes, you've read the book. You've mentioned it several episodes.
You read the cliff notes, at least."
I will say this. So, in preparation for this episode, actually, between the first time I watched it and the second, I rewatched both the Cage and the Menagerie. Well, I should say, I watched the parts of the Menagerie that were new and skipped through all the parts that I'd already watched when I was watching the Cage. Because that's only like.
I mean, no reason to watch Star Trek twice, Daniel. I mean, it's
3 times, really.
And one thing I noticed was when they were heading towards Talos IV, the computer comes on and says, "This is a prohibited planet. You're not allowed to visit it." But there's no mention of the death penalty.
Yes,
which was a big part of the plot of the Menagerie. So,
which was years later. Maybe this upped the scale to death penalty world after the events of this episode.
Yeah, but nothing really happened to do that here. But we'll get into that stuff.
Or maybe Section 31 rubber stamped that death penalty through.
Maybe Leland was just pissed that he got played a fool, and
but I pushed the transporter button and it didn't. Well, that's getting way far ahead, but
yeah. So they land on the planet. We see a very familiar singing plant. And then we get reintroduced to
Vina, which was really cool. So I was not expecting that, but
yeah, and I know that I've seen that actress before, but I can't remember in what. But yeah, because even though going in, knowing it was going to be the Cage or Talos IV, I should probably say, I didn't really think we'd see Vina. I mean, it's a big planet, right? But yeah, so it was kind of like okay, cool.
Yeah, this is actually and I would say this is, at least in the way her character's handled and a lot of the framework here is handled, I thought was pretty well done in terms of the Talosians. So we get to see the Talosians. Do we see them in the scene? Yeah, I can't remember if we did see them.
It's one of those things like, man, they better show the singing flowers. Oh, there they are. Okay, they know what they're doing. Sorry, I'll just sit up and shut up and watch the episode. So.
Yeah. So Vina comes in and explains some stuff to Michael and says we need to get underground, and then they go underground and then they see the Talosians. And I thought it was cool, kind of how it was framed with Vina in the front, and then they had the 3 Talosians behind her.
Mm-hmm.
It was like this kind of like mirror effect almost. It was really interesting looking.
Because they were almost, the way they appeared, it's not like they walked up and like, hey, we're the Talosians. They sort of shimmered as if they were an illusion of themselves, which I thought was interesting.
And there's a lot of sound effects that pay homage to the original series here. It's that slightly cheesy sort of pinging pong noise when like something weird happens, but they play with it a little bit so it's not so dopey.
Yeah.
But I thought it was pretty well done.
Oh, no, I think there's a danger when revisiting. It's not doing the cage over again, obviously, but in some ways it is. There's always a danger in that, especially, good Lord, 50 plus years later, if not more than that at this point, 55 years later, 60 years possibly.
And they had the audacity to update the makeup, Phil. I just can't even believe it.
But I have zero complaints about how they did it. I thought it was all A+.
And it's also, I mean, it's really all that they updated was a little bit of the makeup and how they showed something's an illusion, and that's just special effects have improved in 50 years. So, I think I
really did want the
tone.
bong sound effect, but I guess it was.
And then you have the jump cut where you can tell that they just stepped out of the frame and they disappeared. Yeah. Well, I was expecting, there to be the destroyed wreckage of the outside of the cave entrance.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool.
But instead we were in a pit, so I didn't really know what was going on there. But
so how they're presented, I thought was actually really well done. I liked the makeup. I liked how they looked. What really bothered me and really confuses me, and I guess for now we'll stop going chronologically and we'll just stick with this storyline.
Plot, yeah.
But I don't understand the Talosians' motivation at all
for
in
helping
this episode.
Yeah.
Why do they help? Like they are very, very what's the word I'm looking for?
Helpful.
Not
advanced.
Not benevolent. What is the word I'm looking for? Anyways, they're not very helpful to Pike in the originals and in the cage and all the people. They're literally just using them as
they want
animals.
They want them as experience for the experiences, and the deal they make for Burnham's experience is the cost of their help.
Yeah, but that's not what their motivation was originally. The reason that they wanted Pike was so that they would mate.
Adam and
him
Eve,
and Vina would
zoo
mate.
animals.
Right.
Yeah. And so
or George and Gracie, if you will. That's
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why they're like healing Spock, just because so they can like be creepy and peek on their angry.
I was waiting for one of them to go, Mr. Spock, isn't it? Yes. I never forget a face.
Well, I mean, I could see them also helping Spock because they have a history with Spock, because he was also on.
Yeah, like for 2 seconds, though.
Yeah, but not really. Like they didn't.
True.
Spock wasn't even there.
Did they even learn his name? I mean, they're telepathic, I guess, but
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. The biggest thing I think for me, and I'll let you guys chime in on this, because there's a line when he goes, "The only thing we want, very specifically, is the emotionally damaging past between you and your brother.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we want. Please go on and tell us what happened." And it's like, oh my God, this is not really happening. Like,
I found the other line, that Spock was experiencing time as a fluid rather than a linear construct.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, I don't know how that would work, but
profits.
yeah, I mean, it's basically like a montage flashback. Is that what you're getting?
Yes, I wrote convenient plot device, Daniel, too.
Yeah.
like that's underselling it, I think.
That's the thing we've been talking about is the exact price, the Talosian. And actually, we can go into that, not necessarily the second, but my other note about what we got was, that's it, question mark. But anyway.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, I think the Talosians had more time with Number One and Yeoman Nameless than they did with Spock in the cage. But I guess this was my lingering plot question, and there's a slight reference, which they tip their hat. But me being a diehard, I did want just a little bit more, which all just needed a line. What happened to the other Captain Pike? I mean, I know he's an illusion, but what happened to that at the end of the cage?
They kind of touched on.
Well, she just said like it's like you never left. And I'm like,
Well,
okay,
because
so
remember
then
he stayed with the projection of him stayed.
yeah.
Right.
But what happened to that?
Well, that's
I
what she said.
I
She
don't
said,
know.
"I've lived a lifetime with you."
So she like, guys, if you wanna, I got a projection to get back to. So I'm gonna.
Yeah,
It's
well,
Pike
whatever.
with a Y. That's how we tell each other apart.
No,
PYKE.
he actually reattaches a goatee.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Pike with a goatee.
But we see, but I mean, the big part. I mean, eventually we get to the part with Burnham and Spock, but we specifically get this flashback, this flash fluid with Spock on the Red Angel and stuff. And we're definitely learning a lot. I mean, we learned more than we would. We learned only slightly less than what I'm expecting to learn in the episode "The Red Angel," which is coming up soon.
That's when the helmet comes off, Darren.
Yeah,
That's what,
yeah.
So yeah, what do we learn? Like, let's make a list here. We learned that it's a human.
Right. We also learned that Spock, from an early age, and you thought he would have learned in the next 100 years, just mind melds with anything. The man
Yeah.
doesn't ever. Whether it's a whale, whether it's a
Space
space
probe.
beager,
Yeah.
whether it's a floating Muppet that looks like a bunch of paper mache, like Spock. Don't mind meld with everything, okay? It's like a 5-year-old in a china shop, okay? No touch, all right?
But yeah, so we see Burnham killed in the runaway. So he tells Sarek and Amanda, and they end up saving her.
Mm-hmm.
And we do, and I'll just make a note about the animated series. That every time we're on Vulcan, or every time we're seeing a lot of these flashbacks, it's very much like the animated series. From the look of Sarek's outside of his house, looks very similar. I mean, you can tell that they drew on that, which makes sense because that's where we've seen a lot of young Spock before. But yeah, so we see, the angel appears for that. It appears later, guiding him to an ice world where he saw the end. I was almost thought we were gonna. This was what I was expecting it to go, which I almost kind of was sad it didn't. I thought he said the end, and he's on an ice world, and I'm like, where was Spock on an ice world watching his planet be destroyed? I literally thought that's where we were going, and it was going to show.
If they showed a clip from the JJ verse, the internet would explode.
Right after showing a clip from the actual.
Yeah, but that would still work because that Spock Prime is the one who's on that ice world watching, or Delta Vega or whatever it's called. Watching
The
Vulcan.
one that can see Vulcan.
Yes,
from,
in the
from
sky
surface.
like a moon.
It's Hoth,
But-
isn't it? Because it's the same.
Oh, jeez, yeah. But we do see that, and we see we shouldn't have shot at torpedoes, destroying all the key Red Angel planets. Apparently, because they're like all the ones that we've talked about. I think it was like Kelpia. I know it's not the name of it.
No, I assumed it was all the main worlds from Diversity Hour we just talked about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, they mentioned Andoria.
Vulcan,
Yeah.
Andoria,
Well, and then we had
Vulcan.
Earth.
Tellura, and Earth.
I think one was supposed to be. One had rings, and I think that was supposed to be.
Well, Andoria had rings.
No, the ring one was the one with the colony of pastors. Well, gosh, that's not the word, but you know what I mean. People from the past, in the church. That one had
Okay.
rings.
I thought
That
it was supposed to be Andoria. I just thought it was the Federation worlds.
See, I was thinking it was worlds specifically that we had visited this season.
No. They mentioned specifically that it was Andoria and it was Vulcan and it was Earth. I believe.
Okay.
So
It's-
we get a
yeah.
vision of an apocalypse.
Everything's getting blown away
Because to me-
because Isaac was angry and
Oh, no,
his
no,
race
wrong, Darren,
decided
wrong one.
to come
Wrong one,
out
Darren.
and destroy. Oh wait, never mind.
Because then that changed it for me. Because then that's saying, okay, this is literally a Federation threat. These are someone's targeting the Federation. It's not just, I don't know, random whatever. And so then I guess I don't know if we learned, but then it seems like the Red Angel might be different from the Seven Signals, because maybe the Seven Signals are sort of the bad guys, like the Sphere Builders or whatever, and the Red Angel's trying to stop. I don't know, but anyway.
It's not specifically a Federation threat, even though, in our Federation view, we only watch the Federation planets get destroyed.
Yeah,
Because
Kronos
he
is
does-
fine in this apparently.
Yeah, he specifically says that all sentient life in the universe will be destroyed.
Right.
Now, that's going to take, even if this is advanced future tech, we see the source of this destruction, and it's a torpedo.
Right.
So even if this is true, this is still going to take a good long time to happen for all sentient life in the universe to be destroyed by torpedoes.
Yeah.
So this is not like some supernatural force. This is not some all-powerful alien. This is just a regular, race of alien creatures out there in the Star Trek universe.
I'm thinking like people are still on starships and space stations and
right, exactly. Yeah. Everybody between the stars will be just fine, I guess. I don't know. The Red Angel threat and plot line is so wishy-washy and ill-defined. It doesn't feel scary or threatening at all to me.
Yeah,
Well,
I guess
well,
this
even
is what
with
raised the
the-
stakes. I guess this is what it's supposed to do.
With the ships will be fine, but still, the loss of major planets is kind of where most of the population is
And
living.
then it turns into Battlestar Galactica.
And
Oh,
yeah,
there we
it's
go.
so. So we're gonna talk about the possible Borg connection because everybody's thinking it. I'm not
It
saying
better
it's
not be
true,
Borg.
but I don't think it should be. I'm more interested in how it's obviously is it connected to that time issue where it's literally the probe that the Discovery shuttle shot, and that's what they all look like. Is that the genesis of this
Genesis?
evil AI construct?
Well, it's an interesting idea as and you just saying it, Daniel, made me think of it. Wouldn't it be funny, It'd be funny if this vision isn't for like another 2,000 years or something. Like we're all going to be really worried about it right now, but it's like why do all prophecies happen to happen in the next 5 hours? It could be like the destruction will come in the end. In a millennia, and we're like, oh, I guess we'll.
Yeah. It's like
Well-
Earth's sun will explode in 3 billion years once it reaches this certain critical point that all suns do.
I mean, shoot, climate change is going to kill us, and we're not worried. So, why am I going to be worried about?
So do we learn anything else significant? It's a human. They're scared. Nope. I think
And I
that's-
wonder, is Spock? Was it the human mind that effed him up, or was it just touching a time traveling suit that effed him up?
That's true. I'm still voting Amanda. Is the theory I'm
I
going
should
with.
include my wife Jessica's theory that it is in fact Scott Bakula, and this is his return back to the Star Trek franchise.
Quantum leap style.
She's pushing it hard for that, so I just wanted to mention that.
If it was Archer, as
No,
Future
Scott
Man-
Bakula. She was very specific about that.
Okay. All right. All right. So there's lots of threads coming from here. Where should we go next? All right,
Well,
we're
I
on-
mean, do we want to get into the Michael Spock
yeah, we probably should. So, okay.
brouhaha,
okay.
if you will?
Okay. Here's the thing. And here's the thing, because I'm pretty sure we called this. I'm pretty sure we did. And I'm pretty sure that if I said, if all this thing that has been built up is that she calls Spock a mudblood, and that's the end of it, then this is the worst, terriblest writing ever. And that's exactly what happens. And she does it for a good reason. And all she does is call him a half-breed, and that's it. Listen, I have a sister. She's called me way worse, and we're in way better. We talk all the time. We're real close. It's real sweet.
You have a half Vulcan sister?
You never wait. Daniel. This is the first I've heard of it.
I'm just saying, kids are stupid. Siblings are awful to each other.
Vulcan
This is
kids
part
aren't
of life.
stupid, Daniel. That's like all we know about them.
This was the most anticlimactic. Just the worst way to do this. It was supposed to be emotionally impactful. To me, it fell completely flat. This is like, I'm trying to help you, so I'm going to lash out at you. Come on, Spock, dude. Whatever, man. Okay, you guys go. I'm done talking.
Yeah, it's not something I'm going to be hung up about, but because I'm ignoring all of Discovery. Really. No, I'm kidding. I'm not kidding. But anyway, it's that this is Spock's central life struggle characterization is because his older sister called him
Why
a
he never
mudblood.
talks about her to Kirk.
But and again, you can have more than one traumatic event in your life that shapes you, or a positive one. But we had been led to believe that it was his father's attitude, from Star Trek V, if we're going to quote terrible things, About like, oh, so human. And, Spock, of course, telling Cybok, look, I've grown beyond that. Of course, that's several decades later. But that's the central part, this whole Vulcan and human thing, and that, his father basically was his central part in his life, and blah, blah, blah. We all know, I don't need to repeat it. But now, this is saying, no. The problem was the sister we never heard about calling him, stupid face. And then he's like, well, now I'm going to reject all humanity because she called me stupid face. And that's why he's...
Even though I'm half human, and it's going to tear me up inside.
Yeah, and
Like, and Spock wants to live on Earth? Okay, sure. Okay. It's just so manufactured, and it just doesn't fit, and it just doesn't work. It's not interesting. I don't know. What did you think, Darren?
Yeah.
No, I mean, pretty much what you guys said.
I mean, you have two children who will now be messed up by anything the other one says to the other. So how do you feel, Darren?
I mean, I guess I give it a little leeway because they were building it up that, especially from the other episode where we hear Amanda talk a lot about Spock's struggles and things like that and just kind of where he was. I can buy that if he was at this kind of developmental stage and what he was dealing with, that something like this totally shifts kind of the direction he's going in his, studies and pursuits and logic and all of that. Especially because they kind of explained that, being half human and half Vulcan is really difficult, like way more so than we've been led to believe. And so again, I still agree with you, Daniel. Like, yeah, it's like, here's the answer in 10 minutes. And I'm like, I was expecting at least a 20-minute answer of like something bigger, but I'm not saying I'm not totally dissatisfied with the answer they gave us, because I know it's really just another stepping stone on the path to the Red Angel. I guess want to know who the Red Angel is, guys. It's really all I care about. That's
perhaps we'll find out in the episode titled "The Red Angel."
You would think so, but those tricky writers. I'm not.
You know what the Red Angel was? All of us. Yeah, that's the answer.
The point is the writers they're taking out the rug from under themselves with this whole thing.
But they already wrote themselves into the prequel corner, Daniel. So.
Yes, I know that. I know that.
Well, for some reason, I'd imagine this was when they were a little bit older. Not like, like older. But
I don't know how old the
teens.
writers are, Phillip, but,
they can't keep casting young Spock, Philip. They have the one little kid. That's all they're going to do.
Because he's almost too young, honestly. Not that you can't have traumatic events at that age, but kids are resilient psychologically. I mean, honestly. It's when you get a little more older and prepubescent that things get a little weirdo in your head. So I just thought, and the fact that Spock, and I know he's still youngish Spock here, Lieutenant Spock, but still, he has the self-awareness to know, I understand what you were doing, but this is what it did. But I'm like, well, yeah, but you're self-aware now. And the fact that he's like, I don't need your psychoanalyzing, which is a very human response, because as a Vulcan, he should at least have the self-awareness to be able to look at himself and be, fine, why is he, that's a defensive mechanism, which is more human than Vulcan, I would think. So, this is, I don't know. I'm not a Spock person as far as an expert. I'm not going to defend, is this the same Spock we see 5 years later? And does that really jive with the character we know of, sans the beard? But yeah, it's nothing I'm going to get hung up about, but it's a little off.
It's just that we've now had a year and a half for them to justify why it was so important to make Michael this secret part of the Spock family. And maybe if they had an interesting story or a neat way to tell it, or a new angle that we never would have thought of, you could do that. And you had the time and you had the effort, but it doesn't. If this is it, this is what you're presenting us. It's not. It wasn't worth it, because it just feels so flat and so hollow and so empty. It's not, to me. It's like, I love Spock as a character. This doesn't add anything to Spock. It's just extra stuff that we didn't need. And I don't know why it's here in the first place.
I'd be interested if Amanda ever learns about this, because she was sort of like, oh, hold on, what'd you do to my son? I'm going to smack you in the face. And then, I feel like when she hears it, she'll be like, oh, well, you were young. And that's not a big deal. I thought it was something actually traumatic. Okay.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. The writers are literally cutting themselves. They're stopping the dramatic impact because they're completely justifying Michael to do this. like she has good reasons to do this. It's not she's doing this out of malice. She's not doing this because she's young and inexperienced. She's doing this to actually try to protect them.
Because of the Vulcan logic extremist,
guys.
Daniel.
That's the answer. It's the logic extremist fault.
All right, I'm done with it. Anything
Moving
else
on.
you guys want to talk about?
Moving on.
No, you just don't understand, Daniel. The logic is so extreme.
Extreme.
All right.
Okay. Can we talk? Let's talk about let's switch back to the Enterprise maybe, because I feel like we're going in circles with Spock, or you know what I mean.
Well, can we do it? This should only
with the
take a
saucer.
short time. But the Doctor.
Yeah, we should talk about the Doctor.
He is not okay. Guess what, guys? Dying and coming back is not good for the human psyche.
I mean, usually, as long as it happens in some sort of madcap, back in time manner, you can say a lot of quirky, funny one-liners, and then by the next movie, you're fine. But I guess that's just a Spock thing.
So we have Culber and Stamets, and Culber, who has clearly not been himself since he came back.
No, I mean the beard.
Well, that's right. And the muscles. Have you seen the muscles? Because he wears a shirt that
Look,
goes
spore matter is like really lean and healthy. So when you build your whole body out of that,
spore steak. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, I don't know. I guess you TV is different than theater. In theater, you often exaggerate because everything was bigger on stage, whereas TV things can be more subtle. But Stamets' cluelessness,
yeah, he's just so happy he's back, but he won't see what's right in front of his face.
I mean, yeah, and I guess that's the metaphor, obviously, but it's to me a little cartoony. I'm like, look at the guy; he doesn't give a blank about what you're doing. I mean, if you just had notched it down.
I was scared when he was looking in the mirror, though, because you know what happens when we look in the mirror in this room? Like bad, crazy stuff happens. But
I wasn't bothered by Stamets' response, just because I mean, he goes into it in the episode and he says, "Look, I'm so happy that you're here." I'm more bothered by what they're like. Where are they going with Culber? Because I feel like this isn't gonna go anywhere. I don't know what this is supposed to.
You kill this character and you bring him back in this. You spend all this time doing that, but now what?
Yeah, and I like. Well, I'm not saying I like this because I like the character and I don't like what they're doing with it, but in the larger sense of telling a reality story, as much as this can be a reality, is that yes, would it be traumatic, and is he showing at least his version of trauma, because everyone can be different? Yes, this is all good. I mean, but it's one of those things like we love. Well, at least I did. Stamets and Culber, but now you killed them, and then I was like, well, that's something. Curse word.
It almost would have been better if Culber came back with no memory, and they literally had to fall in love or and then they would show us instead of just tell us of their relationship, but because he has his memory,
or not,
but he's different. Yeah. Like that would that'd be really interesting to see their relationship develop from scratch again, and maybe that's where they're going, but they're kind of they're going there with the brakes on, and it's kind of difficult.
Because from I will give them points in sort of quote unquote ignoring that this is a unique gay relationship that we have not seen in Star Trek, and so this is the first one that's really been prominent, and so yay. And there's so it kind of be like, well, let's not destroy that relationship because that's the only one we have. And so maybe I should give them props for being like, no, we're just treating it like any other thing, and it's trauma, and maybe they'll break up.
Every other thing, like we kill the character and then bring them back from the
but it's like the one character relationship you've destroyed that I really enjoyed, and now you're breaking it up because of trauma. And I'm like, look, can we at least have one? All we wanted was one at least. So, but anyway.
What about the fight?
I don't have Daniel. What was Saru doing?
What was Saru doing?
Saru was doing jack all because, and that's what Pike called him on.
It's an interesting conversation that he has with Pike about it, but it's like I don't.
Sphere Saru would have totally broken that up, but Spiky Head Saru is like, Fight Club, let's do this.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. This might be an interesting kind of angle that they're going down. This is if they're actually trying to show how different he is now from when he was
And
before.
Pike even asks him that, doesn't he? He says, like,
Yeah.
would you
Yeah.
have done this before you
He
were
says
involved?
before your evolution, which really bothered me. But it's interesting that he's like, yeah, let's let this happen. This is catharsis for those two characters, which
We
by the
got
way,
good
it's not-
medical technology. They can't really kill each other. I mean,
Is the safety zone in the mess hall? Is that what it is?
well, yeah. I mean, if you see the parties they've had in that mess hall, of course they have safeties in that room.
We also
But
have vacuum robots too.
Oh yeah, the little
Oh
Roombas
yeah,
zipping
flying
around.
vacuum robots. Yeah, that's right. I do like that they did, and they're starting to deal with this aspect of the whole situation. Like, hey, you killed me, and that's not cool.
That's a T-shirt right there.
It'll be
More of
interesting.
a Hallmark card.
It'll be interesting to see how the episode when they have to, climb up a mountain together, how that's going to
Or alone in a
But-
shuttle with a bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. But there's a start of something interesting there, I think.
Oh,
Especially
Daniel,
the end,
are
when
you
have-
basically saying without saying it that Tyler and Culber are going to end up together now?
No. I
Oh
do not
wow.
want that.
Jeez.
Don't do that. Right
Now we're at a soap opera drama.
Don't do that.
So wait, so Burnham likes Tyler, but Tyler's actually Vok, and Vok killed Stamets, or not Stamets, Culber, but Culber
you kill the
loves-
ones you love. I think that's the
Oh,
old saying on a pillow I
jeez.
have.
You get frustrated watching this particular storyline because, like you mentioned, Philip, we only got so much of Culber before all this, and like he seemed like a really pleasant dude, and everything was kind of cool for like an episode or two, and then they kill him, and then they bring him back, and he's this, and you're not doing there's no service to the character being done here. Stamets is getting boned because of this too, and it's like, okay, why are we doing this? Why are we doing any of this? I don't know. It's really frustrating.
And I get, my thing is I like to see characters happy. Call me crazy. I know I'm crazy that I like to see characters happy.
Don't you know there's all this conflict and
I
no one's
know.
happy in the 23rd century? That's what Star Trek's all about, Philip.
Yeah, see, that's why, and I will not go in a screed. I'll just say this in a sentence. When people complain that the dictum was you can't have conflict and that you can't tell a story, that's not true. It's never been true, and that is a not true complaint. When you have stories like this that are just about character conflict, not interesting to me. But anyway, we won't go into that whole thing about Star Trek and conflict writing. But anyway, I don't have a problem with the fight scene or Saru being weird, though. I always remember, like, okay, it's sort of a leadership thing. I'm like, okay, who's the highest ranking person going on right now? Who's control right now? So, like, this is what I wish Saru had done, and this is, whatever. He could have kept it going on like he did, same line, but, like, don't make everyone stare at him. Like, I'd have been like, okay, clear the room, guys. At least it's awkward, right? Everyone just be staring at the... Anyway. I mean, you have junior officers here. These are, like, ranking officers, But anyway.
Yeah, so we're left off at kind of an ambiguous position for the two characters. They ostensibly they break up basically, but whatever. Obviously Culber's kind of not in his right mind, and Stamets is heartbroken. Hopefully, this will all work out in the end. We don't know what's going to happen.
If Tyler had a problem with no one talking to him before, he must eat alone every time now. Like,
Yeah.
Does Tilly still come eat with him with Detmer
Because
and everyone
apparently
else?
no one cares that Michael's the mutineer anymore. We've pretty much, there's always got to be one person that's not at the cool kids table in each season.
Oh, I did want to have one random note before I don't know where you're going to go next with the ending. I have comments about. But I think this was with Pike and Tyler. There was a scene where Pike's uniform was open, and I noticed that it's interesting that it's a zipper front, which may not be surprising, right? But the collar's actually a Velcro. So what you do is you zip up the uniform and you Velcro that underneath the collar. Like, it's not a straight collar. It's like, you can literally see, because you have the Velcro open. And so when you put on your uniform in the morning, you zip it up, the jacket, and then you have to Velcro underneath that fold collar to make it look nice. I just thought that was
Yeah, he opens that right when he's talking.
It's
to,
an odd
right in the middle of his
construction, though,
conversation.
of like it's
Yeah.
just a little, like, vanity collar. Like if you just zipped it up and it's a regular collar, but you sort of have to like Velcro underneath, right? It's like a little. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah. Well. So where should we go next, guys? We're heading towards the end here. We could talk about.
What about the space probe and Robo Lady? That's kind of the thread we haven't touched on.
So I noticed the young lady, I'm sorry, I don't know names, the actress who played Robo Lady in the first season actually got a significant amount of screen time. She's the tall, blonde young lady.
The one that was in the quote-unquote engineering room that has never been there before?
Yeah, and I've never seen any media of why they changed actresses. I mean, I'm sure there's obviously a reason, but I was like, it's just that she was so prominent, and then there's these big Arium scenes, I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. But it's clear.
Arium is framing Tyler, as everyone
through
should.
this episode.
I mean, obviously she was about to activate the spore drive, and then somehow it stops working, and we have to
if
use
only
good
they'd done the sort
warp.
of like choo 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 choo. Good morning, Captain.
Like the Excelsior breaking down.
Yes.
So, but if we believe that it was Arium Robo Lady
It
was sending out petabytes of information.
It was.
Who was she sending it to?
The other alien probes.
But the probe, there was only one probe.
Was there, Daniel?
But apparently there are others coming to destroy, imminently destroy all the other planets.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because, all right. We don't know what the 7 signals are. We don't have any theories, right? Or what? Right, correct. Okay. Also, why are there 7? Like this. Okay, this confuses me. So there were 7 signals. Is that a constant number? Because then, for the past couple episodes, one pops up and we go to another one. Like, is that 7 plus 3 now at this point?
Right. Are they going to the nearest one? Do they disappear? Because they seem to disappear when they get there.
But I mean, that's why I guess my question is that they're a constant 7, and then like, oh, it just appeared over, Saru's home planet, or is it like there's the first 7 that appeared, and then new ones keep popping up all over the.
You are asking questions which the writers have never heard before, Phillip, so
I guess that's my first question. Then the second question, this is more of a sum up here. So then the time rift that appeared out of nowhere, seemingly, because we lasted too long at a planet for more than one episode. It's sort of like the game moving you along. Sonic is checking his watch. It is the time rift appears now. Why the time rift appeared? Right, we don't know. But the evil,
Is the time rift bigger in the past?
Yeah. Gross. So the time rift with the evil probes. So now is that the evil probes or the quote unquote bad guy or girl causing the time rift, or is that something to do with the Red Angel, or I don't know. But anyway, I'm just trying to sum up what we know.
I think the time rift was a result of the Red Angel leaving.
Okay.
Or showing up.
So sort of temporal wake.
Sure.
Right, I think that's what it was. That the Red Angel showed up on Saru's planet and then left, and the time rift appeared because of that.
Maybe. Okay, I'll accept it for now.
And then
the evil probes were in there for.
And then the probe. There was no probe there at that point.
But you're right. We should call it something else. The Matrix devices.
So they shoot a probe.
The Sentinel probe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. You're right. Go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry. You're right.
So they shoot a probe into the rift.
And that was converted.
500 years in the future. They said that specifically. Mm-hmm. Comes back as the Matrix squid.
You're right. I forgot that.
Yeah, I think that's the timeline.
Okay.
Quote unquote timeline.
So you're right. There shouldn't be any evil probes because that's just the one probe from Discovery.
Right.
Which is
that's why I was confused.
Which has now become like a race of probes because we see.
But we don't know that.
But no, Darren, what do we do with that race?
No, but remember we saw that in Spock's fluid flash.
Well, we know Spock has the memory of something that happens in the future.
Right.
But as of right now, quote unquote, in Discovery time, there are no probes as far as we know.
Millennia from now, these torpedoes will exist. But that's why you need to recycle today. So no evil probes.
Save the whales.
Yeah.
I guess we should start heading towards the end here. So the Talosians help.
For some reason.
To get some weird voyeuristic pleasure out of Michael and Spock's tortured past. And they help, and they fix Spock's brain. So now we have a regular Spock on the show.
Right.
And I actually, we didn't really talk about this, but we should talk about the scene between Vina and Pike. Because I thought that was pretty well done. And it's a good acknowledging of what had happened in the past. And bits of foreshadowing into what happens in the future with Pike, which of course we know.
Yeah, and if I can add just for a moment, something I don't think Pike about, just because even though we've seen Pike, we haven't necessarily gotten to like Pike's heart or motivation or soul, whatever. We just see him doing cool things and we all like him. Maybe that's all we need. But like when Venus talking to him, I sort of had the thought, this must be a very lonely man. I mean, because he had this experience years ago, which, for whatever reason was meaningful. I mean, it was. But when the reaction he still has to her, the sort of old love, for lack of a better word, it kind of comes to mind, well, he probably hasn't had any, or, he doesn't have anyone waiting for him. He's not married. He's not, so it kind of brought that home, sort of the person, we've just sort of seen the captain. This was sort of seeing the person of Chris Pike for a moment. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It was definitely a moment of vulnerability for Christopher Pike that we haven't seen much of. Not that he's not like a closed off captain by any means,
no,
but
it could be a front. So he's so engaging. It's sort of a reverse Picard. By being so engaging, you still keep people away because they just have that buddy attitude with you, and they don't get closer using humor or whatever.
Yeah, Pike is still great, and he gets to see his
Spock. Old
holographic-ish.
Yep.
Not really though, but she's there, but she's not.
Yeah. There was I'm not gonna I glossed over it, but I'm like, how come they're holographic looking, but she looks fine, but they're both being projected by the Talosian? Whatever. Never. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
So we get at the end we get a reunion scene between Pike and Spock, which I also thought was it's a little bit, but I thought it was pretty well done.
Shades of Kirk and Spock.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. When I was just rewatching. Basically, the menagerie really is the one that hammers it home, but that Spock does really have like this super close relationship with Pike that we never really get to see. But they said they served together for 11 years. Mm-hmm. So I mean, like they're obviously we know Kirk and Spock, but Spock and Pike obviously have a very close relationship as well. And Spock literally is willing to he breaks a death penalty offense for Pike. So obviously there's some loyalty there, and there's a close relationship. And I do hope the one kind of prequel-esque sort of situation I really do hope they get to build on is Spock and Pike. I really I guess that we want to see that. So
yeah, though I do get a little bit of a Spock goes to that well a lot of like, oh, there's a problem. Talosians are the answer. Like every time there's a problem, Spock has to go back to Talos IV. Like maybe there's another option, Spock.
That's why they made it a capital offense.
Just for Spock.
Spock just kept going
Spock.
Back.
We're cutting off this culture of dependency that you have, Spock.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good point, Daniel. That Pike has a lot of history with Spock, and that makes sense that they help each other out. But yeah, no, but this was fine. This was like I don't really feel we're going to be back at Talos IV again. This was kind of it for this episode.
So here's my question for the future. What uniform will Spock be wearing next episode?
He has to wear Discovery. I mean, he has to, right?
Well, but he's kind of like not active right now, so why does he need to put any uniform on?
No, he's active. Why is he not active? He's Lieutenant Spock.
No, he's on leave. He
put himself on leave, and then he went, and then he was arrested. And I did like that, obviously, like when they were in his head, and it's like, look, I obviously didn't kill these people. I just Volga nerve pinched him, and we're like, yeah, we all kind of saw that coming, but
and also this is where. I don't know. It's not a hang. It's just that this is why Michael is not like a big character for me. Where she's like, they're not dead, and Spock's like, yeah, I told you I didn't kill them. What the f's wrong with you, Michael? What do you want from me? And it's because Michael's so melodramatic. They're not dead. Yes, we never thought they were. I mean, what? Section 31 lied. Oh my God, my head exploded. It's.
So actually, there is one thing I do want to touch on. And this is, despite the circumstances, and we haven't had too much of lucid Spock at this point, but we are getting a new actor in the role of Spock. How did you guys feel about Ethan Peck? Right, I believe is his name. Obviously we've had him obviously in a few episodes before, but I'm just, now that we're actually he's starting to add his own sort of flavor to it. I think he's okay. I don't have any really major concerns or problems with him so far. He seems to fit it pretty well. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, we actually saw him non-brain damaged in this episode. We actually had a full conversation with people. So I think the hardest thing for me, and this probably happens with a lot of times when you have a character cast as another actor, is just the voice. Is like, I feel like the tender of it, his, maybe it's a little deeper than Leonard Nimoy. I don't know. It just it doesn't connect quite as well as I would think, but that's just me.
Yeah, I mean it's it's not Spock, but I get it. I mean, it is. I'm not trying to calcify it here, but
Spock,
whatever. It'll be interesting when he's clean shaven and in a uniform, but then again, he'll be in a Discovery uniform, so
What about? I know we haven't touched on it, but we haven't talked about Calypso in a while, and now we've definitely been seeing some indications that there's going to be some connection in a 500-year future, which could be bringing that short trek in again.
That was farther in the future, if I'm not mistaken.
Farther?
From
I believe it was
1,000 years or some god awful time.
It was quite a bit.
I thought it was like 39th century or something, but
it might. I don't remember specifically. Yeah, that's a good question.
Maybe you're right. I don't remember. Then is my answer. I'm sorry. Yeah.
to the interwebs.
But yeah, so the ending, I don't know. So this is my, it'll turn out fine, right? It'll turn out fine. Get over it, Phillip. But like this whole Discovery things that they just can't enjoy themselves. And I don't mean like they have to be happy. I just mean like enjoy being a show that does stuff. Because like last season was like, it was the Klingon half, and then it was the Mirror half, and then Klingon Mirror, and that's the whole season 1. And I'm like, can't you just... And again, I'm arguing episodic, and that's not the show, I get it. But now it's like, now this is going to be the fugitive part of the season. And I'm like, no, just beam down to planets and have adventures. Okay.
So I just confirmed, yeah, it's the 33rd century, so it's 1,000 years from the 23rd century.
Yeah,
so probably
so
not.
we won't see Calypso again.
Yeah, probably not.
Because remember that time Spock was a fugitive and Pike was, and we talked... No? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, I don't know, I mean, we have the cool beam out thing, and that's kind of cool. I mean, we could kind of see that come in, but I don't know. What about the goodbye Spock?
He's funny. What can I say?
Well, it wasn't even him, so...
Well, presumably it was a projection of him.
That's true. I don't know, yeah. And now we're off to our...
fugitives.
Where did they leave at the very end again?
Detmer just pressed a button.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just leave. So really
But where are they going? What are they...
Oh, Darren, these questions.
I thought it's a difficult question to ask. That's right. They're about to become wanted, so they're like... We better go.
So I do like the Federation honor system, because it'll take the Federation a good week to be like, what, they didn't report to Starbase 11? Well, maybe their warp drive's failing. Let's give them another week, guys.
Wait, remember, this is the ship with spore drive, right? So they literally could be here in half a second if they wanted to.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. There's the moment at the end where Pike is like, oh, he turns to his crew. He's like about to say, he's like,
the speech.
I don't want to involve any of you in this. If you don't want to be involved, blah, 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 blah. We're about to disobey orders, blah, 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 blah. And Detmer turns and is like, destination, sir. And it's like, this is what Discovery does. It's so quick. They want it to be emotional, but it's not emotional.
Meanwhile, there's a lieutenant in Science Lab C who's like, I'm out of here, guys. I don't remember consenting to this.
Right.
Nobody on this ship knows Spock. Why are we all trading our careers for this dude? Nobody here
I just feel like
Spock.
Detmer know what happened the last time there was a mutiny, and she should not be so quick to sign on again. But there's a reason half your face was blown off. But anyway.
This is the ship of mutiny, because Bernum's a mutineer, the Discovery crew's mutiny.
Spock, he wanted for murder.
Yeah. Okay, so we're running. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're gonna run, and we're gonna run.
Where are we running to?
Well, we're gonna run to evil Robo Lady next episode.
Oh,
'cause
that's
what
right.
the preview has given us.
I mean, I was shocked that in the teaser they said, what's her name?
Arium.
Arium. It's like, Arium, what are you doing? It's like, we all saw this coming. We know that she's bad news.
I just want to know, like, the Bryce, like, in the back of the bridge is like, no, I thought it saw her red eyes the whole time. I thought, was I the only one who saw that?
All right,
Yeah,
guys.
Project Daedalus.
Let's close this out here. Darren, what are your closing thoughts on episode 8 of season 2 of Discovery? If memories,
It's not called the Red Angel, so I don't care. No, it was good. I liked. I mean, the effects were great. The way they did the Talosians was great. I mean, interweaving for an episode that's really interweaving with like literal episodes of Star Trek canon, it did a pretty good job. Like, I'm totally fine with all of that, but I don't know. I guess I was feeling that season 2 was more episodic, which I was liking. There were some episodes early on where I'm like, oh yeah, I could see myself watching the Saru episode, like the one on Kelpia, and I know it's got a different name, but I'm just gonna call it that.
Was it the Friends ones? Yeah.
No, but I know his planet's not called
Kelpia one,
and it's like, it's just why I don't know why it's not called Kelpia, because it really should be. It just makes it easy.
You can even hear yourself.
Even the name is crazy. But was this good? But yeah, no, but again, now we're kind of in that in between episodes where it's like, yeah, this is cool. We learned some stuff, but it's like every episode we learn a little bit about the mystery, and we're given a little bit more of the mystery, and that's great for a season. But I don't know. Like, it's such a different format that it's still kind of hard for me to wrap my head around.
Yeah, it's interesting. What about you, Philip? What do you think about the episode?
I think for the large part, I really did enjoy this episode. As much as I can sometimes be wary about prequel and whatever. If this had basically the whole episode had been Talos IV, I probably would have been happy. The Michael Spock stuff, as we said, a little blah blah blah, anticlimactic. But I mean, I would have gone with it if that had just been a small part. Well, I mean, it was a small part, except for the building up for the entire season and a half. But like, I guess all the other sort of B and C stories were just so tonally different. I was like, can we just get back to Talos? And because I'm not saying they were bad per se, I was like, can we just get back to Talos 4? Because that's where I'm having fun. That's where I want to be this whole episode. So like the Culbert, which is an important story in as much as it is, was sort of like, oh, we're doing all this cool stuff for prequel, and now dramatic dress, and I'm like, well, now I'm down. We kind of had a little bit of TOS fun flashbacks, and now I got to deal with trauma. Even though I want to hear that story, it's just like, I don't know, could have been a different episode. But yeah, so largely enjoyed it, but there's all these Section 31's elements I don't care about, and blah blah, and Tyler's weird now and whatever. But yeah, so but for the large part, I give it a Discovery Curve A.
That's an interesting grading scale you have there, Philip. Yes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It would be interesting to see how I would feel about this episode if you didn't watch The Cage, if you didn't know the Talosians, because that's like, to us, that's the best part, because that's interesting and fun, and like that's a neat way to see something in a new light that you hadn't thought of before. But I don't know. I was frustrated a lot of the episode, like I am with a lot of Discovery. And then there's points where I'm like, yeah, this is great. So I guess we're going to keep doing this. We're going to keep dragging the Red Angel and the Spock and the Michael, and we're going to keep, it's just going to be the same, and nothing's going to change.
You do know they're responsible for killing your parents.
Oh, boy. Hey, we didn't get any of that. There was no heavy-handed.
Oh, it's coming, Daniel. It's coming.
There was some heavy-handed Robo Lady is now evil parts, because we literally zoom in on her face and she has red lights blinking,
and she's like strangling someone against the wall, if I recall. That's pretty
well. That's in the next episode.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's in the teaser. So
I know it's like, as they were railroading
Michael, you
Tyler,
have displeased me.
Yeah, like I wanted to be like, no, look at Arium, what's she doing? Oh no.
But if this whole season, if this whole arc is only about who is the Red Angel. And that's your big reveal. And your reveal, and I'm going to make a crazy prediction here, falls flat. It doesn't work. It's not narratively satisfying. This entire season is going to feel pointless and frustrating and really, 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 really irritating. So I hope that's not what's happening here, Discovery. I hope you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. Because like you were mentioning, Darren, and I think, Phillip, you feel the same way. Like early on when we were doing sort of the episodic stuff, that was cool. And you can still play with a larger story, with telling smaller stories. We're losing that. We're definitely backpedaling. We're losing that sort of Star Trek adventure of the week, monster of the week. There's a balance.
Right, there's definitely a balance. I mean, I'm not saying, oh, you can't have long-form storytelling, because that's just what television is nowadays. Like, I would be surprised. But, you know, I like remembering episode titles, and I like knowing, okay, yeah, they're not all gems, but it's like, okay, in season 2, oh, yeah, I want to rewatch this one and this one and this one because this happened. And I don't know, maybe I'm just getting old, but it's like hard to remember, okay, where did that storyline end and this one begin, and where did the actual crux of that storyline, you know, whereas, again, with Saru's story, we know we can point to one episode and say, that's the episode. Yes, they've built up to it, but, you know, I don't know.
And I guess, and this is my opinion, obviously, I think, you know, and y'all know I'm not the biggest Deep Space Nine fan, but even in their war episodes, it seemed to me which, you know, part of larger storytelling, you know, they checked in every now and then. It was still about issues and not necessarily, I mean, I know they're very character driven, but I guess I'm waiting for an issue, and I guess that's not Discovery and I should just let it go. But like, we're in the 21st century. We have a lot of issues these days. I mean, it doesn't even have to be like the immediate political American ones, but there's just like social issues and everything in this country, around the world. There's not been one Discovery episode that I know of, and maybe I'm forgetting one, feel free to tweet me, that's been about anything other than internal character dynamics and their own melodrama. And I'm like, that's not interesting to me. I don't, you know, I like when you use the characters to throw in that issue, and that makes it interesting, you know, because Saru's going to have a point of view that speaks to him, and Mike, you know, but just like, it's about their sibling rivalry was this episode. I mean, I don't care about them, about siblings. I care about, you know, what's the nature of war? What's the nature of family versus duty? You know, that's the bigger thing I'm interested in, but, you know, that's just me.
And the thing is, like, I wholeheartedly agree with you, Phillip. That's the storytelling that I want in a Star Trek series. But if they're going to give me this other type of storytelling, then do it right. And they're not doing that type of storytelling right. They're not telling interesting character stories. The characterization is paper thin most of the time, and it falls apart under scrutiny. Nobody has any sort of logical or reasonable motivations for their actions. So as an actual character piece, it doesn't work. And so it's that I wholeheartedly agree with you. They need to refocus. We'll see what happens, I guess. But yeah, next week maybe we're going to be getting an interesting story about Robo Lady, and why is she part Robo and part Lady?
Well, I think we know why she's part lady. It's more the part Robo part that I'm.
Yeah. Maybe it's about the dichotomy of machine versus man, and
when do we sacrifice? When we embrace the artificial, and you know, anyway.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not going to hold my breath, but we'll see. What is the episode title for next week, Darren? I know you can tell us.
Yes, next week it's called Project Daedalus. I was actually just looking up who is Daedalus.
Well, there's no data in there.
Yes,
so
it's true. It was Daedalus. So, but he was the father of Icarus, and he was also known as the creator of the Labyrinth, where the Minotaur was imprisoned. So, who sees what will happen?
I guess.
And how much will it be like the Goblet of Fire?
Did you put your name in the goblet, Harry? Okay. Anyways, so it's been fun. Darren, if people want to get hold of you, how would they find you on the internet?
They can find me at drsci-fi.com or on the Twitter, Twitch, or Instagram at drsci-fi, DRSCIFI.
And Phillip, how about you?
Well, folks want to talk to me about all their wonderful TOS flashbacks this episode, and they can find me on Twitter at NCPublicServant.
And if people want to get a hold of me, they can find me on Twitter as well, at OneUpDan. That is the number 1, not the word. So we will catch you all next week when we talk about Project Daedalus. Who knows what that means? But for now, I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here on SETI Alpha 3.